people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fingers and say, that's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy.
Okay, we'll start with this. Mikaela Mayer versus Chantel Cameron, junior middleweight unification fight to headline MVP all-female card with Caroline Dubois in the co-main event. Mikaela Mayer and Chantel Cameron will put their junior middleweight world titles on the line for a high-stakes unification clash in the UK this August live on Sky Sports. MVP have confirmed that Mayer versus Cameron will headline MVPW-06 at the BP Pulse Live Arena in Birmingham on August 29th, where every fight on the main card will see a UK versus USA contest. The UK's WBO junior middleweight world champion Cameron faces the USA's unified WBA and WBC junior middleweight world champion Mayer, with all three world titles up for grabs in the 10-round contest. You could see they had to compromise to get this one over the line because initially, Mikaela didn't want to have to give up her WBC title to fight for 3-minute rounds instead of 2, so they made it for 2-minute rounds, but provided that Mikaela would be willing to travel to Birmingham, which is Chantel's neck of the woods. Cameron won the WBO title with a dominant performance over Mikaela Kotaskova in April, a belt Mayer had won, then vacated just months prior, and Mayer now looks to reclaim it alongside her WBA and WBC hardware. "I'm over the moon that this fight has been made," Cameron said. "I've always said I want the biggest fights in women's boxing, and there isn't a bigger fight right now than me against Mikaela. The intriguing battle between two world champions will be both fighters' first defenses at junior middle and contested over 10 2-minute rounds, while the main card will be composed primarily of female fighters." Mayer added, "Cameron has always been a name I've hoped to add to my resume, and a fight I feel the sport of boxing deserves. With our come-forward, aggressive styles, I've no doubts that it will be one of the most exciting fights of our generation." The co-main event will see the United Kingdom's own unified WBC and WBO lightweight champion Caroline Dubois face a 10-round unified championship defense against American Amelia Moore, contested at 135 pounds with 2-minute rounds. And so it would seem, in spite of MVP being the biggest advocates for 3-minute rounds in a women's boxing match, at least for this card, they're moving away from that because these WBC champions, Mikaela and Caroline, they don't want to give up their titles, and in pursuit of fighting for 3-minute rounds, they would have to. "I'm excited to be fighting in the UK at home again," Dubois said. "The crowd in London last time was incredible. I'm looking forward to representing the UK on this card and defending my unified titles. The goal is to fight 4 more belts at the end of the year, so I need to focus and take care of business with a big win in Birmingham." He's got 2 champions to choose from: Elif Nur Turan, who holds the IBF, and Stephanie Hahn, who holds the WBA. Stephanie is within closer proximity of Caroline since they're both promoted by MVP. Since its inception in 2021, MVP has produced over 30 live boxing events and currently promotes over 60 fighters, 15 world champions, and 26 top contenders. MVPW-06 UK versus USA delivers one of the most important fights that can be made in boxing. A pound-for-pound matchup of this magnitude is nearly impossible to make. 2 of the world's top 10 fighters meeting in their prime, said Jake Paul and Nikisa Badarian, co-founders of MVP. Mikaela and Chantel have consistently sought out the toughest challenges available, and this fight is no different. Chantel is one of the GOATs of women's boxing, bar none. She went to Ireland and defeated Katie Taylor, and almost did it a second time. Mikaela is one of the sport's biggest faces, who has delivered big fights and big ratings. This will be a fight of the year contender. I have to agree. They're both come-forward, aggressive fighters. This will not be a fight of finesse. The co-main event features the return of Caroline Dubois defending her unified titles for the first time against top American contender Amelia Moore, as we bring MVP back to the UK and deliver the brand to Birmingham. On the heels of MVPW-05, Johnson vs. Thorsland on Saturday, August 8th, MVP is putting together a remarkable month of boxing and continuing to deliver elite matchups the fans deserve. Johnson vs. Thorsland is going to be on ESPN Linear, whereas Mayer vs. Cameron is going to be on ESPN Plus. I actually unsubscribed from ESPN Plus not but a few weeks ago, but I guess I'm going to have to resubscribe at least for that month to be able to watch that fight. Mayer's only 2 previous professional defeats have come on UK soil, with a controversial split decision loss to Alicia Baumgartner in London in 2022 and a split decision loss to Natasha Jonas in Liverpool in January of 2024. A Jonas rematch did not happen, but Mayer seized her second opportunity to become a 2-weight world champion later that year, defeating WBO welterweight world champion Sandy Bryan in a Fight of the Year contender. Mayer beat Bryan in the rematch before conquering a 3rd weight class in her last fight in October, dominating Canadian star Mary Spencer over 10 rounds in Montreal to capture the WBA, WBC, and WBO junior middleweight titles. I know I haven't always had the best luck over here in the UK, but I've always said that hasn't deterred me from coming back. Mayer exclusively told Sky Sports, "I love fighting over here. I love the fans over here, the people, the energy. In the arena, it's always great. I'm just going to have to go and get it done this time. 3's the charm." We'll see if it is. I like the theme. UK versus USA, as MVP hosts a robust stable that features fighters from both sides of the Atlantic Ocean, so I guess that we can expect to see Terry Harper on that card. I think so. I think we can also expect to see Shannon Courtenay. I don't know about Ellie Scottney, since she's in line to fight the winner of this weekend's fight between Tiaria Brown and Hannah Rapp. There's no guarantee that the winner of that fight, fighting in June, would then be ready to fight again as soon as August, so I don't expect Ellie or the winner of that fight to face each other there. I think that'll happen later in the year. And I do like the theme of the show, UK versus USA. So we'll see what other matchups they add to the bill. Elsewhere in the world of boxing, you may have heard Floyd Mayweather's ex-manager fires back at lawsuit. Floyd Mayweather filed a $175 million lawsuit against his former manager, Jonah Rechnitz, alleging widespread fraud. But Rechnitz has now responded. Jonah said the allegations are false, and he says he has the documentation to prove it. The lawsuit's most significant claim centers on $100 million worth of jewelry. Mayweather alleges Rechnitz used the pieces as collateral for a $13 million loan without his knowledge, and that he never received the money. Rechnitz disputes both elements of that account. He says that he has text messages showing Mayweather was fully aware the jewelry was being pawned, along with photos and video placing the pieces in Mayweather's hotel room at the Fontainebleau in Miami, followed by footage of cash later that same day, after the exchange with the jeweler had been completed. Rechnitz also alleges he previously helped Mayweather secure a $1 million loan from New York jeweler Avi & Company, using an $18 million watch as collateral, a transaction he says Mayweather participated in knowingly. Mayweather's lawsuit states that Rechnitz facilitated the sale of his Gulfstream jet but withheld the proceeds. Rechnitz says the money was paid in full, with the bulk of it going towards settling an existing multi-million-dollar loan on the aircraft. It's said that Floyd blew through all his money. I wrote him many letters concerning his spending habits, which are documented. I had many conversations with him about slowing down with the spending, but unfortunately, it caught up to him, and now he's looking to blame others. First, he blamed Al Haymon, and now he's blaming me. He is unhinged. I hope he can get back on his feet and control his spending. He can. Floyd can continue to lie that he didn't know about the airplane purchase or the jewelry pawn. The facts speak for themselves. There's a lot more, and I have all the backup which we tried to show Floyd's attorney before they filed suit, but he refused to review any of the evidence that would contradict his frivolous lawsuit, said Rechnitz. The courts will decide who is telling the truth. Rechnitz, for now, says he is ready for that conversation. The more that comes out about Floyd's financial situation, the more that it seems he's just an Indian giver. That he knew about the sale of the private airliner, and he knew about the pawned jewelry. He's just pretending not to so he can get his money back.
Or his jewelry.
And the thing about pawning jewelry, when you pawn it, you're going to get substantially less than what you initially paid for it. I mean, that's how everything works. Whether it's automobiles, aircrafts, jewelry. I mean, the only things that don't depreciate in value from the time that you bought them are antiques and collector's items.
That's about it.
But everything else, clothing, jewelry, even women, they all depreciate in value over time. Car doesn't become more valuable the more miles you put on it, right?
Right.
Speaking during an interview with YouTuber Spencer Cornelia, Rechnitz rejected Mayweather's allegations and claimed he possesses texts, photographs, videos, and documentation relating to jewelry loans and the sale of Mayweather's aircraft that tell a very different story from Floyd's. According to Rechnitz, records exist showing Mayweather was aware of several transactions now at the center of the legal dispute. I do not want to litigate this issue through the media, nor do I want to embarrass Floyd publicly, Rechnitz told Cornelia.
Well, there's no way to tell the truth about the situation without embarrassing Floyd, because whether you tell Spencer Cornelia or it comes out in the courts,
it's going to be embarrassing for Floyd because there's no way to get at the truth of the matter and spare his feelings at the same time. Rechnitz went further, arguing that Mayweather has repeatedly targeted others when financial disputes arise. First, he blamed Al Haymon, and now he's blaming me. He sued Showtime for $340 million, sued Business Insider for $100 million, and now he sued me for $175 million. He's unhinged. Those comments arrived only weeks after former Showtime sports boss Stephan Espinoza publicly cast doubt on Mayweather's separate $340 million claim.
So Al Haymon didn't steal his money?
I don't know that we can go that far. For years, stories questioning Mayweather's finances have surfaced despite the boxer earning hundreds of millions of dollars during one of the most lucrative careers in sports history. The difference is that Mayweather has always positioned himself as the exception. While fighters such as Adrian Bronor have openly admitted making mistakes with money, Mayweather built an entire brand around financial discipline, business acumen, and quote-unquote smart investments.
Had even one of his biggest fight purses been parked in a high-interest account, the return alone would have generated more than $200,000 a week without touching the original money. Whether Rechnitz's claims ultimately stand up in court remains to be seen. Mayweather strongly disputes his former manager's version and Events is seeking substantial damages through the lawsuit, but the timing is significant.
It's also important to note that Jonah Rechnitz, Floyd's former manager, is a bit of a sketchy, dubious character that's been associated with other fraud cases involving other individuals. So I don't know that we can just take his version of it at face value.
But the timing is significant. Questions surrounding Mayweather's finances continue to emerge while a proposed Manny Pacquiao rematch remains in limbo, and a Mike Tyson exhibition is still postponed, and a scheduled bout with Mike Zambides approaches later this month.
So where did the money go? For a fighter who spent years convincing fans that nobody handled money better than Money Mayweather, the conversation increasingly seems to revolve around where the money went. With a $340 million Showtime lawsuit and a $175 million lawsuit against his former manager, a delayed Pacquiao rematch, and fresh financial allegations now circulating publicly, the focus is shifted away from Floyd's next fight and back onto Floyd's finances.
A part of me still believes that Floyd Mayweather was taken advantage of by the people around him, Al Haymon included, because he's just not the person he pretended to be, presented himself as. He's not some business guru with all this business acumen. At the very most, he's a boxer, a talented boxer, but a boxer still.
Just a boxer, which would make him very easy to take advantage of by those that he surrounds himself with.
The Money Mayweather persona, I've always believed, is an invention of Al Haymon's, a character he told Floyd to portray. All the while, Al Haymon was the brains of the operation, and that is painfully obvious now that Floyd might have trusted this guy a little bit too much. Rumors about fighters not getting their full fight purses on the night and instead being paid over time via stipends.
It wasn't just Floyd. It was Adrian Broner, it was Hugo Centennial. The breadcrumbs are there if you've been paying attention over the years.
That what Al Haymon was doing with his fighters was tantamount to an allowance.
They weren't seeing all of their money up front, which begs the question, why would Al Haymon have access to their money after they've already earned it, particular to Floyd?
If you've been following this channel long enough, you'll know that I've long suspected Al Haymon was using Floyd Mayweather's money to keep his PBC afloat after budget cuts. After they fell on hard times on Fox and were subsequently given the boot and faced budget cuts on Showtime, I started to wonder if Al Haymon wasn't using Floyd Mayweather's money, Floyd Mayweather's nest egg, to keep his fighters active, to keep his fighters busy, to keep doing shows even though the money dried up at Showtime. Where else would the money have come from? Who else would have had that kind of money?
And I stand by my original assertion. The only thing I question now is, did Floyd Mayweather know about it? The whole time that Al Haymon is using his money to keep the PBC afloat, was Floyd in the dark about it? Or did he know?
And I think he knew.
I remember when Canelo Alvarez was fighting under the PBC banner. He goes over there, makes all this money, then he leaves. Floyd Mayweather seemed really angry about something, really disgruntled. Do you remember?
Unbelievable fighter. One of the best fighters in the sport of boxing today. One of the best. They'll overlook guys like you, little young kid right here, they'll overlook him. But you can take a guy like Canelo, this guy can do, he can pick and choose who he want to fight. And I'm going to tell you the truth about Canelo. Motherfucker easy, man. Cakewalk. Easy. Y'all sitting up here, y'all praising this dude was nothing. I was almost 40 years old when I cooked this dude. Easy. Y'all always disrespecting our fighters.
The outburst seemed quite random and unprovoked at the time, especially since at that time in 2021, the PBC was doing a lot of business with Canelo, so why was Floyd Mayweather taking shots at him?
And I said it then. I believe it's because in order to bring Canelo over, they had to use Floyd's money.
That's why he was upset. That's why he was so disgruntled at the time, because he knew Al Haymon is using his money to pay Canelo Alvarez, who can have his pick of the litter, who can pick and choose.
The fucking nerve of Floyd.
Complaining that Canelo is picking and choosing his opponents? What the fuck were you doing, if not picking and choosing?
No situational awareness. So belligerent, so upset that Al Haymon is using his money to pay Canelo.
And don't lose sight of what's important here, because what that essentially means is, yeah, Al Haymon took Floyd's money, but Floyd knew about it. Al Haymon should have never had access to Floyd Mayweather's money after Floyd earns it. He should have never been able to burn through it, to spend it, but for whatever reason, he did. And I don't think Floyd was in the dark about it. I think he knew. He just couldn't do nothing about it.
Why not?
Because of whatever he signed. Not actually knowing the ball from the bounce. He's likely the one that empowered Al Haymon to burn through all of his cash. So it's entirely possible that the truth is in the middle. They did take Floyd's money, they did burn through his cash,
but he's the fucking idiot that let him.
And Jonah Rechnitz?
It is a little bit more nebulous with Jonah Rechnitz because that guy's not exactly a Boy Scout. The bottom line here is, however many lawsuits Floyd has filed against however many people, I can tell you now, he's not going to see a dime of that money. It's in the wind.
It's all gone. They ain't got it stuffed under their mattresses.
This fucking idiot's gonna have to keep fighting well into his 60s because of his own frivolous spending habits and because he's got the financial literacy of a toddler.